You're listening to Community Voice PHL, an award-winning talk show that informs, engages, and inspires.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to Community Voice PHL Talk Show on WPPL LP in Philadelphia, PA. Community Voice is an award-winning talk show that highlights the value-based programs and services that people are doing all across the tri-state area, right here, even across the nation as well. So we appreciate you for tuning in. We're always excited to be on the airways because every week we get a chance to talk to some amazing guests who are doing some inspiring things, helping to build caring and prosperous communities. So thanks again for tuning in to Community Voice PHL Talk Show, a show that informs, engages, and inspires. As many of you can see, we're not in the studio, but you know what? It's because this past week, for those who are not in the Philadelphia area, but you know what, across the nation, you probably already know, there was a severe storm that came through. And so, you know what? I said, you know what, let me play it safe. Let me rock out and do it virtually, as opposed to going into the studio, giving the city a chance to clear the streets and get everything all, situated, because it was a mess out there. They said this was the worst snowstorm we've had in the Philadelphia tri-state area in the past 9 years. So that tells you a lot about how, challenging this storm was. But like I said, I just made a business decision as it was to just stay safe and do a virtual recording for the show. But just wanted to let you know, because I know you're looking at, you see the Basquiat artwork behind me, but like, that's not Philly Camp Studio. And for sure, it's not. Philly Camp Studio has their own swag, and my home recording studio had my own swag. But nonetheless, just wanted to, again, just give you that info, because I know some of you might be saying, yo, I'm going to send Jeff an email to communityvoicephl@gmail.com and see what's up with the studio, what changes it went through. No changes. We ain't in the studio today. But nonetheless, we still got an exciting show for you. And as we were continuing with our Smart Start series, we've had for the past couple of weeks, beginning of the year, had some amazing guests come in talking about things to help us get ready to have this be a smart year, starting off with the information and expertise that they lent to us. So we're going to continue with that with the guests we have on the show today. So I'm excited to bring him back on. Majority of our guests with our Smart Start series are guests that you've always asked about and always featured with great information. So this will be a guest when I bring him on. You'll be like, great, solid, we got him back on. So we're going to tease that up. But before we get into that, I want to make sure all of our viewers and listeners are properly recovering from the snowstorm. Because as I mentioned, throughout the past couple of days, you were hit with, that massive snowstorm. And it's going to take some time for the city and even, local neighborhoods to really recover from that storm. So just wanted to share with you all some recovery safety tips so that we can all make sure we get over this storm. Because you know what, they even talk about maybe another one coming, but we get into that later. So as snow comes through, make sure, of course, you clear sidewalks and driveways carefully. If you were able to be one of the fortunate ones to get some salt or some type of chloride, not chloride, calcium treatment to put on your sidewalks, put that out there so that they can be properly, preventing any ice buildup. So get that out there. And when you're shoveling too, just don't try and do it all at once, because that's like a health safety tip right there that I, learned myself too. Just take your time, do a little at a time, take a break, go inside and take a break, right? But take a break and then come back out. So don't try and shovel it all, especially when it's massive packed on snow that we just recently got, because it was a whole lot. So take some breaks when you're out there shoveling, and check on our elderly and those who may be able not to get out and do some of that shoveling or anything like that. So check on them, make sure they have even food and things of that nature so they can be okay. And, if you lost power, of course, call the proper extension numbers, PICO, which is in this area, call them, call safety 311 and all those numbers that you have to call if you've lost any power. And, stay hydrated and dress warm so that you don't have to worry about ranging your heat up too high, which may cause an expense down the line, right? So those are just some common sense safety tips that I wanted to share with you all as you're getting over this storm, because again, they said another one's going to be coming. I mean, hopefully it's not as bad. It may be still like a little sprinkling, but they call for one this upcoming Sunday as well. But just want to give you those tips so that we can be prepared and continue to be ready in case any other storm comes through. So hopefully those tips and viewpoints are really helpful for you. Some of you maybe already know those things, but you know what? Spread those to people who we are in contact with who maybe aren't aware of us so that we can make sure our communities are safe and well taken care of. And when I also dropped this did you know fact, of course, the nation is celebrating 250th this year. And we're really excited about that, particularly here in Philly, which is the birthplace of liberty. And we're getting things ready in the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. I want to share a few some Philly first and things that maybe we didn't know about and things that, be like, wow, it's an interesting, cool fact about Philly. So did you know that the iconic Girl Scout cookies, the cells, the original Girl Scout cookie cells started here in Philadelphia. The first Girl Scout cookie cell was here in Philadelphia in 1933. And it's, something that's really a fun fact to know because those delicious cookies are out there now. Some of y'all grabbing boxes. I know me and the wife are going to grab a couple boxes as well to support the Girl Scouts. But the first Girl Scout cookie sale started here in Philadelphia. And because of that, there's going to be a celebration event for that. So the first Girl Scout cookie sale started in Philadelphia at the Pico. Well, it was the original Pico building. It's not where it's at now. So on Market Street now. The original one was on Broad Street. But what they're going to do now is they're going to have a celebration to recognize the first Girl Scout cookie sales. It's going to be this Saturday, January 31st at the Market Street location, 2301 Market Street in the Pico building from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're going to celebrate, Girl Scout cookie sales and give a recognition for the first Girl Scout cookie sales taking place here in Philadelphia as part of the 250th and Philadelphia being the birthplace of liberty. So next time you enjoy a box of Thin Mints or the, the s'mores, or any of those famous crackers, cookies, I should say, think of Philadelphia, city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. This is where it all started with the Girl Scout cookie sale. So just want to drop that Philadelphia first on you. And now comes a point where I bring back on a guest that, again, we've had on the show before, Steve Evans, fitness guru, health coach, and all things fitness and encouraging. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab into a great conversation with them about those things. He's going to share with us some tips and insights how to get us ready in a smart start, continuing into 2026 and beyond. So I'd like to bring onto the show Steve Evans, health coach Steve Evans, onto Community Voice Talk Show. Okay, it's a little delay getting Steve onto the show. There we go. There we go. There we go. He's trying to hide from us, y'all. He's trying to. Can't get away. Can't get away. You on the air now. Thanks for being on the show, Steve. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me again. I really enjoy doing this with you. So excited to give some good tips this year.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Well, you know what? I know I said you were on the show before, and many of our viewers and listeners had the opportunity to hear and see you on the show, but there may be a few who didn't. So if you just give a little background, who you are, what you do, and then we get into our conversation here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I health coach Steve, born and raised in the suburbs of Philly, but been in the fitness industry since 2007. So almost going on 20 years here that I've been helping people with their fitness routines here and through just organizational opportunities as well to work in different communities throughout the city, Houston, California for a little while. And so my passion by far is helping people get moving and just live healthier lives.
Got you. That's what's up. And so the importance of that, Steve, is that healthier lives, it combines a lot of things. And our previous guest that we've had on for the Smart Start, we had someone, Yogi Den, talking about the yoga aspect, getting the body moving aspect. We had Nicole Layton. She talked about the importance of overcoming seasonal affective disorder, because sometimes we get to the space where, certain seasons hit and we are not our best selves. And then last week we had my good friend Seth Rotman on the show. He talked about nutritional wellness and habit stacking. So with all that being said, talk about how that portion of health and, health coaching, which you do, lends itself to helping us step into a successful year.
Yeah. So all the dimensions of wellness that you just mentioned are a part of it, right? And so when working with someone to help start getting them moving, the first part, sometimes some of those other things that you just mentioned, those other weeks could be barriers for them to get moving. And so as a health coach, the initial part of my job is to help people figure out what's the roadblock to start. Because, new year, new me, everyone wants to start there. I'm working out 5 times a week for 90 minutes. That's kind of their goal, right? And some of those other dimensions that you mentioned are usually the thing holding them back from even getting started. And so it's first assessing what is happening in this person's real life, what their vision is for their health and wellness, and then figuring out what's really realistic about how they approach their fitness journey from the start.
Yeah. And so approaching their fitness journey. So as you mentioned, folk often start off with what they call the resolutions or commitments. They give them different names now. Do you think that that's a good thing or a necessary thing? What gets them into people into mode of saying, this is what I want to do, and then make it a lifestyle?
Yeah. So, I'm all about resolutions, right? Like a new year is a new beginning. It's an opportunity to capitalize on a bunch of motivation that folks have. But I think the challenge often is with why people don't make it a lifestyle at first is because they start at the mountaintop instead of at the base. And so when you want to create a lifestyle wellness routine, you need to start where you are, not at the mountaintop. And so when I usually am coaching folks, it's like, okay, where are you today? Tell me what you did in the last 30 days. And let's start from there. Let's not start from your dream fitness life is to work out 4 times a week. Let's start with what you did last week, because if last week you didn't work out at all, maybe this week we get to 1 or 2 times a week, so that it's an easier transition as opposed to changing everything from day one.
All right, Steve, sound like you're creating a lazy person though, man. If I do if I do 1 day a week, I'm sticking with it. So how do you move them from that 1 day? Because Jeff will be like, Steve said, Coach Steve said 1 day. And I done did 1 day for 52 weeks.
Listen, and if I'm honest, right, and I won't want to create a lazy person, but how many times did you go last year?
What if I went 1 day? What if I went twice a month? And I'm just teasing this out because I see where you're going. But I'm just teasing this out humorously. And we're gonna get to a serious point for sure. But what if I did 2 weeks every day? 2 weeks last year. Twice a month last year. And so so I go add another 2 more weeks on. So is that progress, really?
Yeah, I mean, well, let's just do the math here, right? Last year you went 24 times, right? You go twice a month. This year you went once a week, 52 times.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to nudge someone to add a day than to nudge someone to start from 0 to 3 times a week, right?
Yeah.
The reality is, like, look, your life's just not set up right now for that. And so my job with you is to figure out, how do we create something that your life can handle and then add to it, right?
Yeah.
It's not hard. Usually 60 days. You give me once a week for 6 weeks, we can add another day. And it'll feel like a layup. You know what I mean?
True indeed. And I was just, of course, teasing it out because that the important part about that is that getting started part. And as you even mentioned, which I thought was a great comment that you shared with us, is that don't start at the mountaintop, right? And, of course, the mountaintop may be the penultimate, but often we look at, I'm going to go, 4 or 5 times. That's the mountaintop, right? And so I like how you tease that out. Don't start there. Start at the base, start at a place where you can build on, because that is where the momentum garners itself. And, when we're talking about that momentum building, what I really want to get you to share with our viewing audience is the strength building, because I think that's important for health reasons, particularly for our seniors and even, those who are, younger, that strength portion, because that maintains a level of health and sustainability. So tease that out. If I'm just starting, how do I maintain a fitness level that helps me to be strong in my 20s, 30s, and then, as you get to your senior years?
Yeah. So the first thing you want to do is add strength training or resistance training to your routine. And we often believe that resistance training has to be weights to start, right? So if you're in your 40s, 50s, or maybe you're a teenager and you've never done any exercise or strength training, maybe body weight is your resistance, right? To start. And so if you're doing, some squats, some push-ups, trying some pull-ups and a plank, right? Like to start, that could be enough resistance for you. And then as you get stronger, you add in new things. And so I know a lot of trainers are gonna, give me flack for this, but I tell people all the time that for the general population, usually the strength machines at the gym, they're probably enough, right? If you don't have any radical goals and you just want to stay fit and strong, the strength machines are just fine, right? It's getting caught into the idea that you need to have this rigorous, free weight routine that usually keeps people from being consistent.
So you mean I don't have to do the slabs of 40s and just bench press to get the strength?
Not at all.
Okay. Yeah, ooh, good for me. Now I know. Now I know. So cool. So when they're getting started with the strength training regimen, plyometrics, how does that play into that?
So I wouldn't recommend plyometrics to start.
Okay.
Because it is very demanding on the body. And if you don't have a foundational level of strength, doing plyometrics, it can be dangerous for you. Now, when you're ready to start doing some jumping and bounding exercises, they can be simple, right? Hopping on one foot, hopping on 2 feet. You don't need to be jumping over boxes and, throwing balls, 50 yards. Sometimes it's literally just, getting used to hopping side to side, hopping forward and backward, and then going to one leg from there. Again, when you're training, we have to separate athletics from regular living. Now, there is benefit to plyometrics, but the majority of lay person don't need to do what you see on TikTok or Instagram.
Got you. So let me tease this out because time always gets away when I'm talking with you about fitness. No, seriously, it does because I'm looking at the clock now, man. We only got a couple minutes left to wrap this up. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Training versus working out. What is the difference in that? Because you mentioned training, right? But is there a difference between training, working out, and just being fit? So let our viewers and listeners know so that they can make sure as they set their schedule and change their life, what specifically are they doing? Are they working out or are they training?
Gotcha. So both and, right?
Okay.
So when you're working out, you are ideally on a training program, right? So when I say training, I mean there's an intentional program that you're following. You're not just showing up the gym and saying, what do I feel like doing today? Right? That's kind of like working out, right? You're just doing random.
Yeah.
When you're training.
I mean, but don't people do that though? Don't people work out, do just like what you just said? That's why I wanted you to tease out the difference between training and working. Yeah. A lot of folks do just like you said, like look around the gym, especially if you go like Planet Fitness, right, which is a popular one. No plug, but just a popular one. And they look around, okay, that's free. I'm going to do that. That's free. I'm good. That's what a lot of folk do. So I'm sorry, I mean to interrupt, but you're sharing.
No, yeah, that's exactly true, right? And in the beginning, that's what people do. And there's this novelty idea that people want to do something different every time, but that doesn't necessarily lead to effective training and effective outcomes, right? If you want to learn how to ride a bike, you don't start one day with training wheels and then the next day roll in and try to pop a wheelie, right? You have a structured like progress, right? So if you go in and you're going to do total body, let's say 3 times a week, on day 1, you're going to go in, you're going to do the chest, you're going to do some legs, you're going to do some abs. Cool. When you show up on Wednesday, you can pretty much do the same exercises and get out of there, right? You want to be able to see measurable progress in the exercises rather than this extreme variety where you don't know if you're progressing or not. You just know you're sore.
Yeah. And that soreness stage, sometimes people be thinking again that, hey, I had a good workout. My body's stiff. Must have did something right. We could have did something wrong too, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Soreness is not a measure of effectiveness in a workout.
There you go. Yeah, because like I just said, humorously, what could be true though, you could be doing something wrong just because you're sore. Don't mean, So listen, man, this is what I want you to do in this last couple minutes that we have. Smart Start 2026. Give our viewers and listeners some tips that you can share with them, how they can have their smart start. Give you 3, maybe 4 tips to say, hey, first time training, working out, Jeff, these are the things you need to be doing and or putting into motion.
Absolutely. So to start, I recommend that you start strength training start going if you can 2 times a week, right? And you just do your total body. If you're going to a gym, again, no plug to Planet Fitness or any gym like that, they have a strength circuit. Just
Mhm.
do the strength circuit. You don't even want to be in the gym anyway.
Mhm.
So save your time, go to the strength circuit, do all of them, do them for 2 rounds of 12 reps, 8 to 12 reps, and then get out of there. It
Mhm.
should be difficult on the first set.
Mhm.
You don't need to wait till the last one to make it start feeling it.
Mhm.
So that's my tip one. Tip two is put your exercise program on your calendar in a place that's
Mhm.
already available. Don't fool
Mhm.
yourself in thinking that you're going to go to bed early, which you don't do, wake up early, which you don't do, and then go to the gym also, which you haven't been doing. That's you trying to start 3 new habits at once.
Right.
Pick a time where it's already available, even if it's only for 20 minutes. Get in there, move some things around, and get out of there.
Mhm.
And then my last tip, above all, is add weight. It's okay.
Mhm.
It's safe. You'll be safe if you add
Mhm.
weight. And so if it's easy on the first set,
Mhm.
easy on the second set, it's
Mhm.
probably time for you to add a little bit more.
Mhm.
And there's no harm in doing a workout you find on YouTube or getting
Mhm.
help from a coach, right?
Mhm.
There are plenty of trainers who will give you a free consult.
Mhm.
Keep it simple, keep it short, in and
Mhm.
out. If you want to be a gym rat, you got to start by just going to the gym.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I like those. I'm glad you point those out in that capacity. How you gradually put it in motion. You start with making that schedule, and then commit to that schedule and building
Mhm.
in that capacity. So, is there anything different in that process for someone who wants to gain muscle mass or lose a couple of pounds? Is that process still the same? And or talk about the difference in those two.
Yeah, it'll be the same. It's about where you're starting from. So
Mm,
if you're someone who doesn't exercise regularly and you're looking to lose weight, you're going to
mhm,
go strength train total body
mhm,
twice a week. I would add in some cardio if weight loss
mhm.
is your goal. So
Okay.
that maybe some extra walking, maybe some the stair climber, maybe you ride a bike, whatever it is that might be cardio for you. Zumba counts
Mhm.
too.
Okay.
And if you're looking to gain weight, you're going to you're going to be looking to add that next strength training session as soon as you're ready, right? So you want to
Mhm,
get from 2 to 3 sessions
mhm,
sooner than later so that you can add another compounding session. And just like probably your guests from the weeks before,
right.
gaining weight is going to be about the nutrition, losing weight is going to be about the nutrition too. But in terms of the fitness, there's not a huge difference for the beginner.
Mm. Got you, got you. And as a health coach, I know our previous guests also talked about it, but I also want to get and share your expertise in it as well. That nutrition part of
Mhm.
working out, because is there like a pre workout meal or intake you should have and a post workout intake that you should have? Because sometimes that can be missed as well, right?
Mhm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And here's my belief, right? Just
Mhm.
based on nutrition science. We focus too much on these individual windows and not enough on the macro of what you're eating. A
Mhm.
post-workout meal for like, oh, you got to have protein 30 minutes after. What you really should focus on, are you getting enough protein today?
Mhm.
Right? If you're getting enough protein today and then you're training at a very advanced level or working out at an advanced level, then the timing matters. But
Mhm.
first, hit the minimum requirements. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what time of day you're getting them. Don't show up to the gym hungry because you're not going to have a great workout. And
Mhm.
ideally, you don't want to leave the gym starving. And so, how you structure your meals are based
Mhm.
on you getting to the part where you work out, not
Mhm.
feeling like you're starving and not leaving starving because obviously you're going to eat way more than you
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah, yeah. So that's you got to find that perfect balance, though, right? It's
Yeah, not a perfect balance, right? You got to find
no,
what works for you, right?
okay.
So it's
Well,
not a
yeah,
perfect
yeah,
balance. If
yeah.
the average person eats 3 times a day, and let's
Mhm,
say they work out early in the morning and they go to the gym and work out, maybe
mhm,
they don't need to eat before they work out because they're not hungry. That's fine. Their first
mhm,
meal would just be their breakfast after, and then they would have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you
mhm,
work out in the evening, maybe you have dinner before you go to the gym because
mhm,
you go to the gym at 8 o'clock, right?
mhm,
Cool. Whichever works best for you is what it is. Is the key is do you have the right amount of nutrients for your goal
mhm,
in that single day?
mhm. Okay, cool, cool. So now we are coming to the close of this segment, but I want you to share like your client base. Are you seeing more individuals of what age demographic coming to you for fitness concerns? Because what we've seen in the city of Philadelphia is that there is a lot of food insecurity, and that food insecurity leads to people not being as healthy as they should be. And it's not just older folk anymore. So are you seeing that in your expertise in health and coaching?
Yeah, typically most of my clients are going to be between 35 and 50, right? It's a big window, but they're typically working. They're typically have a recent life event. You know, my younger demographic, maybe they got a kid coming, or they just had a kid and they're trying to figure out how to fit their healthy living routine because they want to be there for their child. The older group are thinking about grandkids, staying active after retirement. Typically, that's the window that I see. And usually, right, you know, folks are trying to figure out how to eat healthy with the resources that they have, because social media leads you to believe you need to make $1 million a year to eat all, you know, food grown in your backyard and cows raised in your backyard, which it's not that, right? We have to find a way to figure it out for you.
So figuring it out is the key essential part, but how do we then get to the part of that consistency with the you know, stepping into that?
Consistency is all about making it real and making it a part of your life and not separate from your life. We have a tendency to start our healthy living journey in a new life that we just made up magically. And we fall off very quickly because it doesn't fit, right? Like it's a dream life where you're like, oh, I'm going to eat this way. And that way doesn't fit your day-to-day routine. And so how we make it a part of your life is say, where are you eating at now? When are you shopping? And let's figure out how to fit those things. Look, I'm a coach who is going to be real with you and say, look, if you've been eating out lunch for the last 3 years, the first thing we're not going to do is tell you to stop eating out lunch. The first thing I'm going to do is say, you eat out already. Let's just make it better. Right? Because then I'm not trying to change your life. I'm not trying to change your routine. I'm saying you're already doing this thing. How do we do the same thing, but better?
So then how do we fit that into a budget though, Steve? You know, because some of our listeners and viewers and maybe even some of your clients have that budgetary challenge in their life because they want to do everything that you're saying. One, they can't get to the gym for that financial reason. And two, for that same financial reason, they can't quite have an, and I'm saying this at the wrong time because we only got like 2 minutes left. And I know you got a lot of great things to share about this. So yeah, just go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, no, how you fit it in your budget is you start with a food budget, right? Based on what you have to spend and how many meals you need to get out of that budget. So if you have a family, what's the average cost per meal, right? You start a budget there. Then we have to break down the barrier of what you believe healthy is, right? Look, people are going to be like, oh, I need all fresh fruits and vegetables. That's expensive, right? Maybe you're eating frozen veggies, right? They're still the same veggies. They're just flash frozen at the point of picking. Maybe you need to start at canned vegetables. Canned vegetables are just vegetables in water. Like, don't be fooled and think that that's not okay for you if that's what it is, because that's going to be, canned vegetables are going to be better than French fries. Right?
Start a fight right there, man.
Yeah. And so it's really about figuring out where you are in terms of your gym routine. If you can't afford to go to the gym, look, work out at home. You can use things at home. You can pick up that vacuum and squat it. You can do a couple of push-ups on the floor. Figuring out what works for you is the key, and make it okay that you're doing what's right for you. And don't let the internet tell you that what you're doing is not right or not enough because it's out of your budget.
Got you. So talking about what's right and what's right for you, how can our viewers and listeners get in contact with you to get more information of how they can have those questions answered for them and then be on their path to a smart start fitness by from your coaching?
Yeah, so you can reach me at healthcoachsteve.com. And on any social media platform, Facebook and Instagram is where I spend most of my time. You can find me at healthcoachsteve1. I'll be there to answer your questions. Shoot me a message. I do consultations for free. And my purpose in life is to allow people to get healthier in a simple and effective way that works for them, as opposed to the struggles that they have. So I'm more than willing to help. Just reach out.
And that's what's up. That's health coach Steve Evans. Fitness guru is what I like to double, man, because he always shares great, impactful information. Thank you for being on the show, Steve. I have information in the show notes of how everyone can get in contact with you. Looking forward to have you back sooner than later, my friend, because the summertime is coming, and that's a whole nother conversation. So appreciate you, good brother. And
Thank
all
you.
Those out there, you're welcome. And all those out there listening and viewing, We're about to sign off this evening. So remember, if it's happening in the community, we need to hear your voice. Peace, and we are out.
Hmm.